friends, it's Dina with Forever Free with EFT, and today we're going to do a tap about anger, and specifically what I'm going to call triggered anger. So you might be going about your day, doing your thing, getting your tasks done, and all of a sudden, probably someone in your family walks through the room, asks you a question, does something, leaves a cupboard open. It could be anything really. And all of a sudden you turn into that just angry monster, and you snap at them or you yell at them, and you just, after the moment's over, you just think, who was I? What just happened? And why was I so angry about something that was probably so simple or silly or just a miscommunication? And so that's a really hard place to be in, because we don't want to have that kind of anger or those responses to our friends or our family or our husband. But there we were in that moment. And so we can tap on that, right? We can tap on what was going on, even if we don't find out the cause right then, or even within a short time frame. We can still tap on what happened, and that will get to that part of our subconscious brain that already knows what happened, knows why we were triggered by that statement, moment, behavior by that other person, and why we chose to react that way. So even though, before we do this, let's rate ourselves on a scale of 1 to 10. Where are you in that triggered anger? So if you're a 5 or above, this tap is for you. So even though I have this triggered anger, I completely love and accept myself. Even though I had this moment of triggered anger, it's not who I am or what my response normally is, and I forgive myself for that response. Even though I had this moment of ragey, triggered anger with someone that I love and care for that didn't even do anything wrong to me, I am in a safe space and I can let go of this anger. So inside of the eye, this triggered anger, it comes out of nowhere. It's not consistent or predictable, but it does rear its ugly head every so often. This triggered anger, it's probably based on expectations that I have mostly for myself, not for the person that triggered them. It's about me and a past interaction that I've had with someone or from someone. And so I find myself triggered, and my response is to get angry. But I know that generally under anger is fear. So in that moment when I felt that triggered anger, I didn't feel safe for whatever reason. Again, not because the person that triggered me was not a safe person. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't, but usually not. But something in me, in my mind, in my body was brought to attention and felt unsafe, or at least that there could be danger near me. So I developed this triggered anger response, and I yelled at them, or I argued with them about something that maybe they were even right about, but I needed to be right in that moment to preserve my safe space and how I was feeling and how I needed to be comfortable in that moment, even though it was through triggered anger. So I had this triggered response, and I snapped, and I didn't want to, and it felt justified, but then it felt horrible because it wasn't justified. It was me in that place of need or want using my own getting and protecting behaviors for myself to feel safe in that moment. So I felt some unknown sense of fear, or like I wasn't protected. Maybe my mind felt unprotected, my emotional mind felt unprotected, and so I responded in a triggered, angry way. And I let myself snap, and I yelled, and I said things and I did things that were not fair to the person that I was interacting with, because it wasn't about them. But I can go back and I can apologize. And I can work on my triggered anger. I can let go of my triggered anger right now. I don't need to have a triggered anger response when I'm around people that are safe and when I'm in my safe space. I can choose to let go of that triggered anger when I'm doing what I need to do and I'm in my own space and I am safe and I am calm. I don't need to have that response. So I will choose to not have a triggered anger response. I will choose not to take out my dysfunctional expectation on those around me. I can let go of those expectations that are only understood to me and only in my own mind. They're not something that I have spoke to my loved ones about, or my family, or my friends, or maybe even my coworkers. They're something that I've put on myself, and they don't serve me. They're really impossible expectations usually. Maybe they're based in perfection. Maybe they're based in feelings of insecurity or inadequacy. Maybe they're stemming from a trauma response from something when I was a small child. And I couldn't identify it in that moment, so I had a triggered anger response. But I can let go of those because I am safe. And I am calm now. And my body is safe to not be triggered. I can let go of those trigger responses and not become angry. I can let go and not snap. I can let go and not yell or fight or become so defensive. I can let go of all those defensive responses because I'm in a safe place. My mind and my body are safe. I can let go of those triggered responses, those expectations, because I am safe and I can think and I can process. I will choose to let go of my subconscious expectations and my triggered anger response. So we want to take that deep breath and let all of that go. And then we always go through what we know to be true through our faith in the Most High Elohim or God. There is an anger that is righteous and true, but it wasn't my triggered anger. But my Father understands that anger. He understands my triggers because he's seen my life story unfold from A to Z, from the beginning to where I am right now. And he cares so much about everything I've experienced, the good, the bad, and the really ugly. All the trauma, he's always been there. His spirit was there too. And he can comfort me right now in this moment. I can allow his Ruach to fill me with a peace and a comfort that passes all understanding. He understands all my emotional responses, the ones that sometimes I can't even understand because he created me. I am beautifully and wonderfully made, and he takes delight in me, even in my triggered anger response. But what he's telling me is that just like Cain and Abel, we learned that anger was knocking at the door for Cain, and all he had to do was make a different choice and choose to master it. So I can master my triggered anger response through the Holy Spirit and through the help of my good Father who walks with me through all of these times. So I will let him wash over me with his peace and his calm. I will let him lead me into those pastures of rest and care and love and goodness, because I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and he delights in me. And his goodness is for me even in my darkest time. So I will walk with my Father hand in hand through all my triggers, through this anger response that I have that overtakes me sometime. And I can look up and I can just ask him to take my hand in that moment and lead me to those still waters and refresh and restore my soul. So once again, you can watch this over and over again. It's a practice. You can change the words. You can add in your unique situation, what you know and what you don't know. So try it out, practice it, and see if you find yourself forever free.